What up with y'all, man? It's Mr. Zach, and I'm back with another one. Man, y'all do me a favor and hit that subscribe button, man. Hit that notification bell so y'all be the first ones to get this content when I drop it. But today's video, man, we got Republican Senator from Louisiana, John Kennedy, gives his take on the possible COVID-19 origins. And Dr. Fauci said it didn't happen that way. Let's get to it.
I want to talk briefly on another topic. Martin King famously said that the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. Smart man, he was right. And if you believe in the fundamental goodness of humans, I'm not saying there's not some evil in all of us, but the fundamental goodness of humans, and you know he was right. The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. This month, we finally got justice with respect to one of the individuals and one of the companies that, in my opinion, helped cause the coronavirus. Now, let me explain what I mean. I'm talking about a gentleman by the name of Dr. Peter Daszak. We've all heard that name. The name of his company is EcoHealth. COVID, as we know, killed 20 million people across the world.
Damn, 20 million people? I thought the numbers was higher than that, but man, 20 million, that's a lot of people, man. That's a lot of people taken out by this virus, man. Rest in peace to all those people, man, who was taken out. Fortunately, man, look, I wasn't one of the victims, as you could tell. I'm here doing this reaction, but man, it was a lot, man. They was forcing everybody to get these vaccines and all these different things. These kids couldn't go to school. People couldn't go to work. As a result, you had a lot of federal workers working from home that don't want to take their butts back to work. It just caused a lot of mayhem, man, in this world. But man, let's get to it.
It caused $25 trillion of damage across the planet Earth. 25 trillion. Lord. Where did COVID come from? COVID, of course, coronavirus is a virus. That's why we call it the coronavirus. It had to come from one or two places. First, it could have occurred naturally. It started in a bat, we know. Our scientists tell us that. And then viruses, which are very aggressive and very interested in self-survival, the virus jumped from another animal into another animal, which was consumed by a human being, and that's how the coronavirus became a human virus. Occurs naturally, jumps from one animal to another. But there's another way the coronavirus could have happened. It could have been engineered. We know that the FBI, and we know that the Department of Energy, and we know that the CIA, and we know that the Germany's top intelligence service also think that the coronavirus was engineered.
I thought it was engineered too.
What I mean by engineering a virus. That means they think that someone took that virus that came from a bat.
Now listen up now, listen up.
And genetically altered it so that it would expose humans to the disease that the bats would get. That's coronavirus, and that's what happened. And many of our intelligence agencies think that that's how the coronavirus started. And they think it started in the Wuhan Institute of Virology in Wuhan, Canada, where the first folks who got ill first appeared.
I think he meant to say Wuhan, China. I think he said Canada, but I think he meant to say Wuhan, China.
What does this have to do with Mr. Daszak, Dr. Daszak? The Wuhan Institute of Virology, the Chinese company, or the Chinese lab that was conducting this research on engineering the virus, was funded in part with American taxpayer dollars.
Wow. So us taxpayers funded this virus. Where was Doge at when the coronavirus was starting, man? That's crazy. That's crazy just to hear that. I don't know if anybody knew that. I didn't know it. I just thought it was just something China was trying to engineer to take us out. You know what I'm saying? But that's crazy.
It was funded in part by Dr. Peter Daszak and his company EcoHealth. Dr. Daszak was good friends and professional colleagues with Dr. Tony Fauci and with Dr. Francis Collins. Dr. Collins ran the National Institutes of Health. Under him was Dr. Anthony Fauci, which ran the NIAID, dealing with infectious diseases. Dr. Collins and Dr. Fauci gave Dr. Peter Daszak, who ran EcoHealth and is a British zoologist, millions of dollars in grants, taxpayer money. And Dr. Daszak took some of that money and he gave it to the Wuhan lab.
Wow.
And when he gave it to the Wuhan lab, the instructions to the Wuhan lab were to use the money to, quote, understand the risk of bat coronavirus emergence. What does that mean? The purpose of this project at the Wuhan lab, funded in part by American taxpayer dollars, was to take the bat virus, the virus in the bat, modify it, and make it 10,000 times more infectious for lab mice.
Wow. So they took the virus, they were supposed to take the virus, the bat virus, and to make it 10,000 times more infectious to lab mice? Hey, look, I don't even know what to say about that, man. That's crazy.
And that's what they did. And many commentators and many news accounts say that what Dr. Daszak, with the money from American taxpayers that he got from Dr. Fauci and Dr. Collins, what they were doing was conducting gain-of-function research. You've heard that term.
Gain-of-function.
Gain-of-function research just means taking, in this context, an animal virus, a bat virus, altering it genetically so it'll jump into a human.
Something they wasn't even supposed to be doing. They supposed to have been conducting experiments on mice. Boy, these some low-down dirty people, man. These scientists, some low-down dirty people.
Pretty dangerous stuff. Now, Dr. Fauci has said that didn't happen.
Of course.
Dr. Collins says that didn't happen, and Dr. Daszak says that didn't happen. But everybody else says it did. The FBI says it did. The CIA says it did. The top spy agency in Germany says it did. The Department of Energy says it did. So what happened? What happened? Well, we do know that the first two people that we know of in the world who got the coronavirus, the first two humans, were not people in the city of Wuhan. They were workers in the Wuhan lab.
Wow.
Remember, the coronavirus supposedly hit, what, January, February? These two people working in the lab got it in November.
Wow.
We also know that when the virus became really contagious, other than these two people who were working in the Wuhan lab, it became contagious in Wuhan, China, a few miles away from the Wuhan lab.
Of course, that's where it's going to start at. It happened in the lab, Wuhan lab, months prior to it being a national phenomenon, a national or a worldly pandemic. Of course, it's going to go from the Wuhan lab to the next nearest city or town. Then it just took off like wildfire, man. It's crazy.
Pretty curious. We also know that when word first broke of the coronavirus, Dr. Fauci learned about it. You know who one of the first person he called was?
Tell us. We want to know.
Dr. Peters Daszak, and said, what's going on? We also know that Dr. Daszak was trying to convince the American people and the people of the world that the virus started naturally, that it didn't start from his gain-of-function research. We know that he rounded up a bunch of epidemiologists to write a fake article and start publishing it and others in a lot of scientific, professional scientific magazines. Try to
just lying to the world. You know what I'm saying? Just lying. How are we supposed to trust these scientists if they gonna lie about something as terrible as this? If they made a mistake, they made a mistake, man. If they would have told everybody about it, that means everybody could have got prepared for it or something. You know what I'm saying? But they waited. They waited till it was out of control and then try to come up with a lie about how it started. Shame on them damn lab man. You know what I'm saying? Shame on them.
Convince the world that the bat virus jumped to human beings naturally. We know that. That's all come out.
Yeah.
We also know that after the coronavirus happened, that Dr. Fauci and Dr. Collins, instead of taking money away from Dr. Daszak, gave him extra money. We're not sure why, but he did. Now, as a result of this,
not funny, y'all. It's just John Kennedy, man. He's funny. He's serious, but he's funny, man.
And let me say, you say, how did it escape the Wuhan lab? I just want to make this point. A molecular biologist at Rutgers University, Dr. Richard Ebright, he studied the Wuhan lab. He said that its safety standards were about the same level of a typical dentist's office.
Wow.
I mean, you would think if you're going to do this gain-function research, you'd do it in an environment so that once you take the bat virus and make it a human virus 10,000 times more contagious, you would try to keep it within the lab.
Yeah.
Wuhan didn't do a very good job with that, we know now.
He said the security level was like a dentist's office.
Well, there were denials back and forth, so we meaning the Congress, asked the Department of Health and Human Services to study this, and they did, and they announced their decision this month. The Department of Health and Human Services has cut off all funding and formally debarred Dr. Peter Daszak and Eco Health Alliance, of which he was the former president, for 5 years, based on evidence uncovered by a congressional committee.
As they should. No more federal funding. Cut off. I wonder if that's the result of Doge going up in there and doing what they doing to bring awareness to this waste, fraud, and abuse. So I'm happy, man. Cut it off.
This is what the Department of Health and Human Services found. According to Professor Ebright, who's read the report. He says that, quote, Eco Health Alliance provably defrauded the United States government, provably breached contractual terms of U.S. government grants,
Wow.
and through the reckless gain-of-function research it conducted in Wuhan, probably caused the COVID-19 pandemic, killing 20 million people and costing $25 trillion. Wow.
Wow.
That's what the professor said. The Department of Health and Human Services, in its official debarment letter of Dr. Daszak and EcoHealth Alliance, said that EcoHealth and Dr. Daszak routinely ignored government oversight requests, failed to report dangerous gain-of-function experiments conducted at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, and produced a required research report 2 years late. It took a while, and some will call this only partial justice.
Man. And it is partial justice, man. We're going to stop it right here. I mean, it's crazy because Joe Biden gave these pardons to Fauci because they knew, man, they knew what they were doing was wrong. Basically, it was wrong, man. And it was a big risk that something like this can spread throughout the world. And it did. And it did. And Fauci, you know, this video of him or pictures of him sitting inside of a baseball stadium with no mask on, with him and his family and everybody out in the world with masks, 6 feet distancing, and everybody rushing to the store to get hand sanitizer and water and toilet paper and all this crazy things that was going on back then. But man, this is only partial justice, man. Leave it in the comments, man. Do you guys think that Dr. Fauci should have charges pressed on him, man? For real. Forget the pardon, because I think Trump is going in right now talking about all those pardons was signed with an auto pen. And if that is to be true, do you guys think that Dr. Fauci needs to do some jail time, and those other doctors that Senator Kennedy mentioned? I can't remember their names right now. He said 20 million people died. $25 trillion worth of money was damages. You know what I'm saying? So let me know in the comments, man. That's just crazy. I feel like Dr. Fauci needs to answer for real. Like, instead of lying and trying to run, man, face the facts, man. Face the facts. What y'all did to the world, man, is unforgivable, man. People lost family members, man. People lost loved ones. You know, and it's sad though, man. Rest in peace to all those people, man, who lost their lives behind COVID-19. They was trying to send, and then especially they was trying to censor everybody for even saying the word COVID. You couldn't even go online and speak your piece about it without them censoring you, and you didn't have no freedom of speech on this. So I'm glad that now we have some type of freedom of speech to speak on these type of things, man, because it affected my family, and I'm quite sure it affected somebody out there that's watching this video, man. It affected people. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, man, if y'all want to continue to watch this video, man, I'm going to put a link in the description. Shout out Forbes Breaking News for the awesome content, man. They always coming with the awesome political content. No matter whatever it is, they come with the great content. So shout out to Forbes Breaking News. And man, like I always say, man, y'all protect yourself, man, out there at all times, and keep your head on the swivel. God bless you. God bless me, man. And God bless America. And I'm out. Mr. Zach Reacts. Peace.